Welcome to the Modern Medicine Movement Podcast with Dr. Thomas Hemingway. Have you ever looked in the mirror and said to yourself, I thought I'd be healthier, in better shape, feel better both physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and be further along in my life? If so, come on this journey with my dad as he explores all things health and wellness from a holistic medical perspective, even as a classically trained physician. He'll share integrative strategies to optimize health and inspire you to join the modern medicine movement.
Welcome to the Modern Medicine Movement Podcast. Dr. Thomas Hemingway here. Super pumped, super grateful. Oh my gosh, guys, I am just so full of gratitude today. I just had an amazing birthday yesterday. I got to see all these shout outs from a bunch of you guys on Facebook and Instagram and messages. Oh, it was so nice to see that. Thank you so much for all those birthday wishes. And I got to do my favorite thing. Well, one of my favorite things for my birthday, I got to spend the day getting some vitamin N for nature. I spent most of the day outside. Got up super early at like 4:30. I know, that's crazy, right? That's just what I like to do. The sun comes up at like 5 something, so I got to get parking spot, to be able to go surf my favorite spot, and got to see the sunrise over the water. It was amazing. Then I cranked out some work, did a few things, some reading, and then later I got to surf with my kids. It was amazing. We enjoyed a couple hours together, and then my favorite of the whole day, we got all 8 of us, that's 6 little kids, and myself and my wife Brooke together on the most famous stretch of coastline in the world, the hike of all hikes, the Na Pali hike to Kalalau. And we got to do the first couple of miles. I think we logged in about 5 in total with all 8 of us. It was amazing. We went from KA to Hanakapiai and got to cruise the beach, go into the caves, go just hike around, play in the water in the river. My little boy Jacob was talking about this cool little pool within the river that he was dipping in and looking out into the distance. Said, Dad, this is a natural infinity pool. We should come here every day. And then my 2 daughters, when they heard the everyday part, they're like, maybe not every day. My legs hurt a little bit. Why can't we just go to such and such beach where we don't have to walk so far? But it was an amazing day. Thank you guys so much for all the shout outs, all the birthday wishes. It was awesome. I actually had in my plans to podcast on my birthday because you guys are such a important and integral and just one of these parts of my life that I enjoy so much. But I just got caught up in all the things for the day and all the activities with my family. It was just amazing. It was simply amazing. I enjoyed it so much. I just love my favorite vitamins. I got vitamin N for nature, vitamin M for movement, a lot of that. 5-mile hike, 2 different surf sessions. We just had a great day. And of course, my vitamin D, because there was a little bit of that on offer in Hawaii. It was a sunny day, but thankfully overcast by the time we did the hike. So we got to enjoy that without it being too blistering hot because it is summer. Well, it's actually 7 days until summer, but super close to the summer solstice, and it's amazing. So thank you guys for all those birthday wishes. Thank you for listening to the show, and thank you for writing a review. I love to read each and every review. If you haven't done so already, hop on over there to Apple Podcasts, scroll down to the 5 stars, click on the one farthest to the right, and then right below that, there's a little button that says write a review. It's a little square with a little pencil coming out the top. Click on that and just tell me what you're loving. Tell me what you enjoy, what you're liking. And just so love to hear from you guys. And I'm going to skip my usual review of the week just because I want to get into this special edition today. It's just something that's on my heart I wanted to share with you guys. And before I get into that, I wanted to give you guys one special announcement because, hey, it's my birthday, and I had this amazing $100 off, half price, basically, my course that was leading up to my birthday, and I've seen a bunch of you guys grab that course, and I'm so grateful you're investing in yourselves and your health, because, as a physician, there's just no price you can put on your health. And, in all my several decades of working with people, and both in the health and wellness, and then also in sickness and in all aspects of health, really, I've never had one person tell me and complain that they had amazing health. Doc, I got such awesome health. I'm so pissed off. I can't believe it. It sucks. I've never heard that, but I have seen and I have heard too many times to count, the old too numerous to count from high school biology, people complaining of their poor health and literally just wishing they could go back and turn back the clock and change some of the things they had done, the things that they had ignored or just not done, or the things that they did, that weren't awesome for their health. And so this course is an amazing opportunity to get to your healthiest healthy, to get, into your best, most amazing health. And then if you want to, you can drop some pounds as well, because that will happen. They'll literally melt away. It's not difficult, and there's no calorie counting. It's an awesome course, natural weight loss and ideal health, and just optimizing your energy, all of that. So look at the show notes on how to get there. You can just jump on over to mastermind.com. Look my name up there, Hemingway. You can start typing in HEMI, and you're going to see the course pop up with my picture there, standing by my favorite place, the ocean. And so get that course. I'm actually going to give you guys an extra week. I figure we got summer solstice coming up, and my second favorite holiday coming up, because it's a family day for me coming up this weekend, Father's Day. I wanted to give all you guys a chance to grab that course for yourself for Father's Day, or maybe your significant other might like to grab it for you, because I'm going to keep it $100 off or half price until Father's Day. Well, actually, I'll give you until the 21st, because that's the very next day, summer solstice. And then once we're into summer, that's it. It goes back to normal price. So grab that course while you can. 1 week left to grab it. It's amazing. You'll love it. So much goodness there. So hop on over to mastermind.com. Check out me, Dr. Thomas Hemingway. Find my course, Natural Weight Loss. You'll see it, and your healthiest healthy. You can't even just say how awesome it is, because it's got all of this stuff and more, plus PDFs and things that'll keep you honest, that'll keep you doing the stuff that matters, that little simple, reproducible, daily stuff that will literally change your life. So enough of that. Let's get into the show today. I wanted to just share with you how grateful I am for you. And while I do it, I'm going to talk about, you guys ever watched Oprah and she talked about her favorite things? Well, this is an episode of my favorite things. And what I did to kind of come up with this, I basically looked at, all of the almost 60 shows that we've done so far, which is, several days worth of content. Every show is almost an hour. We have lots of just thought-provoking, state-of-the-art, lots of research, data, and it's all in the form that you can easily understand and digest. It's simple stuff, but it's just amazingly powerful. So I just wanted to share with you guys a couple of my favorite things on this podcast. So thanks, Oprah, for the inspiration. You're amazing. Maybe I can get on your show sometime. I'd love to share the message. If anybody knows her, shout me out. I'd love to come on to Oprah and just share my message of health and wellness and natural weight loss and improved energy, vitality, longevity, all the things. So without further ado, let's get into it. My favorite thing. So I gave you a little prelude at the beginning. I talked about some of my favorite vitamins. Vitamin M for movement, lots of motion. Motion is that lotion that keeps us healthy and well. Vitamin N for nature. I love spending time out in nature, and there's tons of data to support the immense benefits from just getting a little fresh air and getting a little sunshine, a little vitamin D. Those are probably my three favorite vitamins, if you will. Vitamin D, vitamin N for nature, vitamin M for movement. I try to get that each and every day. And I would encourage you guys to do the same because the benefits are just astounding. They're many, they're deep, and they're just awesome. And I actually podcasted on each of those subjects previously, so I'm not going to get to too many details, but I wanted to share about vitamin D because I just think it's such an amazing vitamin, and it has so many health ramifications that are positive and amazing. You know, last year at the beginning of my shows, we were in the thick of Corona, and we were talking about how vitamin D is super helpful for the immune system. And it is indeed. It's super helpful for your brain, for your healthy, mind, to help you, be able to learn new things, to be able to recall old things, to be able to establish new connections. It's just one of these vitamins that has so many uses, so many functions, so many purposes. It's an amazing vitamin. Vitamin D, go back and re-listen to that podcast, but I just love all of the health benefits, from immune health to brain health to longevity to decreased cancer risk to, there's just too many to even count, but it's one of my favorite vitamins. If you can get 30 minutes a day of outdoor sunlight, it's just so beneficial. Plus it helps set your circadian clock. Like, there's no better way to do it. Vitamin D, one of my absolute favorites, and it just leads into what I wanted to share next. Is one of my favorite things is the gut. Not the guts, but the gut, or gut health. And what's really the most abundant part of that is your microbiome, the trillions and trillions of little guys that live in us, on us, within us. And the majority of them live in our gut. And did you know that they also are sensitive to our circadian clock that is literally set by light exposure and hopefully a little bit of real natural daylight? It actually sets the clock of not only us and our brains and our minds and gets the appropriate neurochemicals out during the day, and then when the sun sets at night, we have a little bit of a natural rise in melatonin that helps us get ready for bed. But actually our gut bacteria also respond to these same triggers, the same circadian clock that we are setting. It's just amazing because it's something that we just don't always think about, yet we are living beings responding to real natural stimuli like light, daytime, and darkness. And so are all of the trillions of living beings that are in our gut. Like, literally, they outnumber us. Some counts by as many as 10 to 1, maybe 30 to 1, who knows, but they certainly outnumber us. And so we should pay attention to our gut. And there's so many things about our gut. In fact, I think over 2 hours of content on our gut because I just think it's so important to get our gut healthy, and the rest will follow, because literally they outnumber us. If we can get these 10 to 1, just super stacked, and all the good guys and less of the bad guys get the right balance, then we don't have to worry about that crappy, poor gut health that they call dysbiosis or SIBO or all these other ailments that start in the gut. Hippocrates, I think, was credited with saying that all disease, and I would like to correspond that all health starts in the gut as well. So even way back then, they appreciated the health of the gut. So we should too. And one of the main things, and I talked all about it in this show, but I was reading about it again in an article just this past week that was pretty cool. It was talking about the benefits of gut health and longevity. Like, did you know that having a healthier gut can help you to live longer? Not only to live longer, but to have an increased health span. In other words, the healthiest healthy will last longer for you. So not only will you have more calendar years chronologically, but you will be healthy for more of those years. That's your health span, and that's what I aspire. As my kids will tell you, I'm going to be surfing till I'm 100 years old. Thank goodness to the SUP, or the SUP, not the what's up, but the SUP, the stand up paddleboard. I think I'm going to be using that into my, what would that be? 11th decade, I guess. Yeah, something like that. Because right now I'm in my 5th decade, and then once I complete 10 decades, I'll be 100. So after I'm 100, I'll be in my 11th decade, and I'll be using my stand-up paddle every day, getting my vitamin N, M, and D. And one of the things that's going to help me achieve that is a healthy gut. A healthier gut means a healthier you. So I just love that. And I'll just briefly mention a couple of pearls that will help that. And number one, I just have to touch on this as a physician, is to try to avoid antibiotics unless completely necessary. Because it's actually been shown, there's data that show that the more antibiotic courses you've been on in your life, the shorter the life you will have. I mean, isn't that nutty? Like, too many antibiotics equal a shorter life? There's actually data that says that. But I think the reason, like I mentioned, is that the gut is so important in our overall health. The more antibiotics that we are on, the more wrecked our gut gets. Now, I don't mean to say that if you're dying of a life-threatening illness like sepsis, a severe pneumonia, these kind of just nasty infections, or septicemia, bacteremia, if you got, a joint that's infected or bones that are infected, things like this, 100% slam dunk, of course you need antibiotics. But for those little sniffles, for that little quote-unquote sinus infection that's 95% viral, all these little things that often we're reaching for antibiotics, guess what? We probably should not, because they wreck our gut. In fact, on my list in my podcast, I think I called it the number one gut wrecker is unnecessary antibiotics. And others I'll just throw out there that I just think are so important and I think about a lot, like stress, for example, is a gut wrecker. And stress, we all have it. Like, holy moly, this last, whatever it's been, it seems like forever, 18 months of COVID or something. We've just, I think, all been under a lot of stress. And if we don't manage that well, it can affect our gut in addition to us, of course. And so we got to manage that well and use it as a, hopefully, EU stress, a good kind of stress that pumps us up, that helps us to problem solve and to accomplish things and to get, like Tony Robbins says, I love how he says, you got to get bothered. You got to just get bothered about something. So you do something, and you do something positive. You do something to go out and make a change. I love it how he says, make your move, right? We got to get out there. We got to make our move. And that's using sort of a positive spin of stress, or what I like to call eustress. I did a whole podcast about stress. And I just mentioned that because it affects the gut too. And the gut is one of my favorite things. All right, getting too excited. Had to get a little sip. Got to stay hydrated. So just another thing I just have to mention, because it affects our gut, and it affects so many other things. It affects actually our waistline, believe it or not. Okay, you ready? Free therapy right here. If you can get a good sleep every night, 7 to 8 hours of high quality, restful, rejuvenating sleep, one of the easiest ways to lose weight. Right there. Done. Mic drop. Like, no joke. Free therapy, free treatment, free pearl. You can do this and you can lose weight by just sleeping better. What the? Like, how does that work? It works for so many reasons, right? It helps with our autophagy, right? If we're sleeping well, we get our housekeeping going on in our gut. We're metabolizing what we need to metabolize. We're throwing out toxins we need to get rid of. We're rejuvenating. We're cleaning up the DNA. We're sweeping all the garbage out, in our brains. Did you know that there's a fluid that bathes the entire brain? It's kind of like our lymph system. It's called the glymphatic system. And at night, this thing, the channels open up, they widen, and they just flush everything out. They flush all the crap out. Like, we need this sleep. It's so important. It's so restorative. And you know what the craziest thing? When I was in medical school, literally, the head neurologist of the hospital system came and addressed us and said, we don't know why we need to sleep. We don't know why. But we do know that you have to sleep, that you need to. It's important. It's so imperative. And you need to get 7 to 8 hours. But we have no clue why this is the case. Guys, this was only like 25 years ago or so. Maybe a couple more. But we had no idea. Now we do. It's because of this, the autophagy, the housekeeping, the glial flush, so to speak, that flushes our brain and all the important nooks and crannies of our body that help us to get cleaned up and rejuvenated and refreshed. And that happens during sleep. It's such a cool thing. I think I did 1 or 2 podcasts on it because I think sleep is so awesome. And I was the biggest offender at not putting sleep on my priority list. Like, I used to say, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Can you believe I actually said that? I used to say that. I think I've been quoted. Not probably these past few years, but decades ago, I said it probably on a daily basis. I just thought sleep was for wusses. You didn't need it. And I've repented, guys. Sleep is awesome. I love it. It's important. It does so many things. And one of them is it helps your gut be healthy. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I think we talked enough about the gut, but there's so many things in there. Go back and re-listen to those first couple of podcasts about the gut. The gut is really where all health and disease, like Hippocrates said, begins. It all begins in the gut. All right. One of my next favorite things is talking about hormones, right? Those messengers. Like on our cell phone, we send messages to people, a text, an Instagram, a Facebook message, on Facebook Messenger, whatever way we send messages to people. We poke them, we do, little high five, thumbs up, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. Well, our body sends messages to all of the systems out there. It's like our inner messaging system, and these messages are called hormones. And sometimes the hormones get screwed up. You guys ever heard of things like hypothyroid or diabetes or insulin resistance or adrenal fatigue? Have you heard of adrenal fatigue or problems with the adrenal hormones like cortisol, or maybe low testosterone, or maybe low or high estrogen or low or high progesterone? All of these things, guys, these are hormones. Parathyroid hormone, adrenal cortical hormone. You have all of these hormones in your body, and the cool part is it actually is way more simple than I learned in endocrinology. In fact, when I was in endocrinology class, we hardly had any understanding of what I like to call the most common hormonal problem in the world, because by the numbers, it's literally 9 out of 10 people have this hormonal problem called insulin resistance. And it's one of my favorite things to talk about. So if you want to hear all about it, go re-listen to the one with Dr. Benjamin Bikman. He's probably the insulin resistance expert of the world. He's been studying this and studying this illness and why it makes us sick for decades. And he's a cool dude. I had him on my show. We talked for an hour basically about insulin resistance. But what's cool about insulin resistance is not that so many of us have it, but 2 things are cool about it. One is that we can easily change it. So you guys know I love to give helpful, useful, strategic, and simple things that we can do to empower you so that we can change. We can make simple, reproducible daily changes which will move the needle in our lives, especially in our health. And overcoming insulin resistance is one of those things that we can do. We have this under our control primarily, and we can get rid of it. Even though 9 in 10 of us have it, it's actually pretty simple to get rid of, and we talk all about it in that episode and the one just after that where I talk about basically how to get rid of this problem, insulin resistance, and another episode that I talk about how it literally is the most common hormonal problem in the world. And when you fix it, what's so cool is a lot of the other hormonal problems just magically go away. All right, it's not really magic. We're not waving a wand. It's not hocus pocus. We're not getting our Harry Potter on, doing our wizardry. It's none of that. It's actually because insulin is the master hormone. It's the switch that kind of turns everything else in the body on or off. One of these switches, I should say. But it's so important that literally, if we can get our insulin under control and hopefully not have it elevated too often, get rid of insulin resistance, almost all our other hormonal problems, including thyroid problems, hypo or hyperthyroid, adrenal problems, adrenal fatigue, low T. Dudes out there, any dudes? Low testosterone. I was one that was kind of on the borderline of that and getting my insulin under control, getting rid of insulin resistance. Yeah, me, I had it. I had insulin resistance, even though I was never overweight. I was never a type 2 diabetic, none of that, but I had some degree of insulin resistance. I was like 9 out of 10 people. I'm pretty normal, but I don't have it anymore. And I'm so, so grateful for that because I was able to basically get rid of it, to flush it with a couple of simple things. And I talk all about them in the show, but it's simply watching the things that I put in my mouth, decreasing the carbohydrates, especially the nasty ones, the highly processed, ultra-refined sugars and grains. Get rid of almost all the sugars and grains in your diet, especially all the super highly processed ones that come with a label and a barcode in plastic or whatever. Get rid of those. Toss them. Do the pantry purge. And when you do that, it's going to be so helpful. And then focus on, you get rid of all the bad stuff, and then you focus on the good stuff. What you put in your mouth should be ultra awesomeness, high quality, natural, whole, real food. And I say this too often probably, but the quality of our food literally trumps everything. I would be willing to go on record to say the quality of our food is more important than calorie counting, more important than quantity, more important than almost anything you can think of with respect to our food. The quality of what we put in is so dang important. We are literally the top of the food chain. We are Ferraris. We are the most amazing machine, organism, life form ever. And often we feed it garbage and we think that we can function off of garbage. Like, no, this is not Back to the Future 2 where the doc puts Mr. Fusion in the back and you start throwing in garbage and that powers the thing to get the 1.21 gigawatts or whatever it was. We can't do that. We don't have a Mr. Fusion that takes garbage and turns it into awesomeness. Garbage is still garbage. And in fact, the garbage we put into our bodies, like these highly processed grains and seed oils and sugars, literally gets into us and makes us up. We are what we eat, like my grandmother used to tell me. So we got to get rid of them. The highly processed grains, the sugars, and the seed oils. Like those three things, if we could get rid of them and substitute them with real, whole, high-quality, natural foods, that one thing could change everything. And then my second favorite thing with respect to eating and diet and all that is the timing of our food, when we eat it. So important. I talk all about this, and it just leads me on to my favorite thing with respect to the timing, and that's the simple thing I call time-restricted feeding or eating, or what I call circadian fasting. The easiest, most simplest way to fast ever that we can all do is a circadian fast, which is just simply an overnight fast, and this can literally pump up our autophagy, our cellular housekeeping, our rejuvenation. It does the sweep. It gets rid of all the toxins, gets rid of our insulin resistance, helps our hormonal problems, helps with our energy. I mean, once you get into the groove of this, and it's not that hard, and I explain how to do it in a couple of different podcasts. I think I've done at least 2 on intermittent fasting. It's a life changer, a game changer, an everything changer, because you can wake up supercharged with literally energy, with the desire, with just all the things that you want, right? Mental clarity, focus, energy. Like it's crazy. I often feel like I could go all day without eating, not that I want to, but I just feel like oftentimes I can. And when I have that urge, I just do it. I just go with the flow. It's so nice to not be governed by this hangriness that never existed, several decades ago. We never got hangry because we all were done eating by 5 o'clock at night, like I did when I was growing up, and I didn't put anything in my mouth till 7 or so the next day. We all did a 14-hour circadian fast because that's just the way things were back in the day. There wasn't this giant multi-billion-dollar industry called the snack food industry. Like, there's almost no good snack foods out there. It's garbage, 99% of it. In fact, get your insulin resistance down before all of the things that I mentioned, a simple thing is just stop snacking. Literally, just stop it. Because most of the snacks we eat are not good. And then if you feel like you have to, really have to snack, do a healthy fat. Like, don't do anything with carbs because those elevate the insulin and cause insulin resistance. So handful of Mac nuts, an avocado, half of avocado, whatever. If you really need it, do a healthy fat. Stop the snacking. One of my favorite piece of advice that I like to throw out there. So dieting is out. Dieting's like old school. In fact, I wrote a whole book about how dieting is like a dinosaur looking for a tar pit. Like, it's such old school. It's dogma. It's crap. It's no good. And the reason why is because it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. I wrote a whole book about why it doesn't work and then what we can do to change it, because a cool study, which I'll try to put in the show notes if I get to it tonight, is that I just brings this to a point because basically almost all dieting fails long term. It's like you have a 1 in 200 people chance to lose weight and keep it off if you're somebody who goes on diets, over and over again for the long term. 1 in 200 people will keep that weight off. The odds are horrible. They're stacked against you. Like, diet, what the heck? It's got the word die in it. Dieting sucks. I think I did a whole podcast on why dieting sucks, and it doesn't work. So the end of dieting, it is the end of dieting. And you know what's in? So dieting is out, right? It's done. It's over. Dieting sucks, even though it's still making billions and billions of dollars. I wish I could somehow break the cycle. And I'm hoping to with my book. So when it comes out, you guys got to buy it, share it, talk about it. And for now, just talk about the podcast, talk about the course that's out there, because it has all these same principles. And you're getting it even before the press and the fanfare. And before it's in print, you are getting the material firsthand in the course. It's there. It's basically my book in a visual format. You get to see me talking about it. But dieting is out. And what's in is mindful or intuitive eating. And what's so awesome is when you get to the point where you get rid of the insulin resistance and you're not eating garbage anymore, you're eating high quality, awesome food, your body will get into this groove that we call metabolic flexibility. And when you are metabolically flexible, you can truly operate in this mindful or intuitive eating paradigm, which is an awesome place to be because you are never governed by hunger. You literally never or almost never get hangry. Like, how awesome would that be to live that way, where you could just do whatever it is you got to do? You could power through, you could, do your work, have time and energy to spend with your kids and family. And if you got so busy that you missed a meal, like, it would be no big deal. You wouldn't have to carry a snack in your purse or your satchel or your backpack or whatever. You wouldn't need any of that. You could go on a hike like we did as a family yesterday, and literally 8 of us, we literally had no snacks. I lied. I did bring one package of macadamia nuts for the whole family. Like, that was all I had. And we had water. Of course, water, super important. But that's it. We didn't have any granola bars. There were no, nothing. It was awesome. And the kids enjoyed it, and it was great. And we didn't even finish the one bag of Mac nuts that we had. I actually finished them today because I just love Mac nuts. Oh, what would the world be without Mac nuts? I don't know. I'm so grateful I live in Hawaii. But basically, when you get to the point of metabolic flexibility, and if you don't know what that is, please go back and re-listen to the podcast I did. But when you're metabolically flexible, you are free. Let me say that again. When you are metabolically flexible, you are free. And that's one of my favorite things. I love freedom, and I think you do too. Freedom is where it's at. It's awesomeness. And to be free from cravings, not only sugar cravings, carb cravings, whatever, but literally just free of cravings so you can get what you want done without ever being hangry. And you can do this once you get metabolically flexible. And it is awesome to no longer have that hanging over you where you're like, oh my gosh, I got to get my every 2 to 3 hour snack, or I got to carry this in my purse, or I got to have this just in case, right? Remember the story I tell about how I used to carry around that Snickers bar just in case? And then once I got metabolically flexible, I literally carried that same Snickers bar that I got for Christmas in my stocking for like 2 years in my backpack. And I felt bad throwing it away because I kind of grew up in scarcity. Like, we always finished our plates. We never threw anything away. And you know what I did? I threw that dang Snickers bar away. And I don't know if I've ever bought one again. It's been years and I don't miss it because I'm metabolically flexible, which is what I want for each and every one of you guys, because it is awesomeness. And it's achievable and it's not that difficult. Awesome. That was another one of my favorite things. I think I skipped on to it because I couldn't help myself. The last thing I'm going to share, because it's just, I wouldn't be complete without it. It actually kind of got me on the road to my health that I enjoy and I appreciate now, which is the power not only of high quality foods, but also the power of supplementation. And I'm just telling you this because it's not that I'm trying to sell supplements, not that at all. If you're interested in what supplements I take, I would be, certainly more than willing to share that with you. I don't really, at least not as of yet, I don't really advertise any specific thing on my show. I'm not getting sponsored. I'm not getting paid. And so you can message me or email me at Modern Medicine Movement Podcast at Gmail. I can talk about supplements if you'd like to know what I take. But actually what's kind of cool, and it's become one of my favorite things because it has made a difference in my life. Like, literally, it has helped me so much to get to where I'm at right now. And so I just got to share this briefly with you. Dr. Mark Hyman, who I just love and adore. He's such a smart dude, really cool, real down to earth, kind of like me, just maybe like an older version of me. He's been doing it longer than I have. He says, and I love this quote because it's so apropos and poignant, because it talks about why the heck we would ever need supplements in the first place. He says, quote, "Even with a perfect diet, the combination of many things, including our depleted soils, the storage and transportation of our food, genetic alterations of traditional heirloom species, and the increased stress and nutritional demands resulting from a toxic environment, make it impossible for us to get the vitamins and minerals we need solely from the foods we eat." This is Dr. Mark Hyman. This is not me. This has been shared by many who are expert in the field. And it is poignant. It is apropos. It makes sense. There's literally a paper that went out, I think about 80-something years ago, which was a Senate report back in, I think, something like 1936, I believe. And I quote it in my podcast that I did on supplements, that they knew even way back then that the soils were getting depleted. It was an issue. And guess what? No one literally had done anything about it for 80 years. And now people are very slowly opening their eyes to the importance of how we need to do what's called regenerative agriculture. Farming the traditional way, not using things like fertilizers and all these pest control options and things like that. We shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be doing these herbicides and the Roundups, the glyphosates, all this garbage, and the fertilizers, which basically are like antibiotics to the soil. Just like I told you how antibiotics wreck our gut, well, they literally wreck the microbiome of the soil. And so buying, those cutesy Miracle Grows and all this kind of stuff, the nitrates that we throw in the soil, it's actually counterproductive in the long term. It's not the way. You know how you get your soil healthy? You rotate your crops. You have animals live on it. They eat the grass. They poop and pee on it. That's a cycle. That's a perfectly good, awesome way. It's called regenerative agriculture. It's the way it was meant to be, right? The natural fertilizers, right? Not the stuff you buy at Home Depot. Anyway, our soils are depleted. and we can't get by and get our healthiest healthy, get our optimal health without supplementation in the year 2021. We just can't do it. We just can't do it. There's so many things that we need. One of the most common deficiencies out there is my favorite mineral, the mighty mineral, magnesium. I had to throw this in because I love magnesium. It's one of my favorite minerals because it's involved in 600 plus chemical reactions in our body. It's a cofactor involved in so many things. It's so important. And for me, it helps me just be cool as a cucumber. It helps get rid of my migraines, helps prevent my migraines. It helps me sleep well, helps with my brain function. In fact, it helps with longevity. Some new research is just coming out. It helps with not only your brain health, but your longevity. Like, what? Magnesium can do that too? Magnesium is awesomeness. And so many other vitamins and supplements are purely awesomeness. So if you haven't listened to my podcast on supplements, please do, because I don't even have time to get into it right now because I'm expressing a couple of my favorite things. I'm kind of rounding out over a year of podcasting in kind of one brief episode. We're actually going to be ending here real soon, sharing my favorite things. And that is why supplements are some of my favorite things, because you know what? I used to think I was healthy. I maintained a good weight. I had reasonable energy, but I didn't have as much energy as I do now. And guess what? I'm at least, I think 6 years older than when I started regular supplementation. I've been taking supplements for almost 6 years now, and it has been a game changer. Literally, like night and day. I feel better today at 47 years old than I felt a decade or even 2 decades, ago. Like literally, I have the energy, the strength, the vitality, the chutzpah that I had in my teens and 20s that I sort of lost in my 30s and 40s. Until these last several years that I've been optimizing my health with all these things, and supplements are one of them. Like, I didn't know I could have all this energy. Like, I thought I had pretty good energy. I thought I had pretty good performance and all that. Well, I didn't know nothing. Like, I'm feeling dang good. Last year, in fact, one of the reasons we did the Nepali hike yesterday on my birthday, because it was my birthday and we were doing the birthday thing, but we did it as a family because it'd been so long since we'd gotten us all out there. And, it's still a disaster driving out there. The roads, they have this convoy thing. You got to wait for the right time of day. And anyways, we got there and it was awesome. We hiked it, but I've been doing this almost every year since I turned 40 on my birthday, doing the Nepali hike. And typically I'll do it all the way in. So from Ka Beach all the way to Kalalau and back, and I go into the waterfalls, Hanakoa, mile 6, Hanakapiai, mile 2, 2.5, whatever. It's about 2 miles in, so it's an extra 4 miles or so. Hanakoa, another mile, so 5 miles, plus the 22 miles that the regular hike is in and out. So 22 plus 5, it's about 27 miles of rigorous. You guys want to check out a little GPS and go Google Napali, Napali, Coast Trail, and see what this thing does. It literally goes up and down. It's like the stair stepper from wherever you want, Hades, whatever. It's this stair stepper that just won't stop. It keeps on going and giving, and you're almost never flat. You're up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down for 22 miles. Plus, if you do the waterfalls, it turns out to be 27 miles. And since I turned 40, I've been doing this on my birthday, in and out in the same day for most years. And last year I did it with my 2 oldest kids, who were then only 13 and 11, I think. Let's see, they're now 14 and 12, 13. So it would have been 13 and 12. My older son was almost 14. And we did this 27 miles together in one day. Like, it was awesome. But I literally did it with no preparation, as far as, additional preparation, I should say. Preparation is my life. I mean, we're prepared. Like, we exercise every day, our 6 for 6 or 7 for 7. We're eating clean. We're doing all the things. But I didn't do any 10-mile hikes to get ready for it. Nothing. Just woke up birthday morning. We planned for the day, got plenty of water, brought a water, purification pump and stuff like that. we were ready to do it, but we literally did it, the whole thing, 27 miles with my 2 boys. And the next day I wasn't even sore. Like, I think we went surfing right after we got home. We just grabbed our boards or whatever. We might have even done it on the way home. I can't recall, but went surfing, no problem, like had all the energy we needed. And I had done this at 40 and I was like cramping up. I was sore. I think I was sore for a couple of days. And I wasn't doing my ideal health at 40. You know, I wasn't taking supplements. I wasn't sleeping well. You know, that was 7 years ago. And things were a little different. You know, I thought I was pretty healthy. Hey, I hadn't knocked out 25, 27 miles in one day, but man, I was feeling it. I was feeling it. And when we did this last year, I wasn't feeling it. I was just feeling the love, man, being with my boys, the beautiful scenery. I mean, my girls yesterday were like, Daddy, this is so beautiful. And I can't even tell you how many times my little one said that. It was so beautiful. And I couldn't do that 7 years ago and have no, you know, discomfort and cramps and the DOMS, you know, delayed onset muscle soreness. And the reason why is because I've discovered all the awesomeness in supplementation, high quality sleep, you know, appropriate hygiene, if you will, the way that I eat, you know, eating the best possible foods, timing them appropriately. I didn't know all this stuff. You know, I knew some of it, but not all of it. And so I didn't have the same experience. Anyway, I just wanted to share that as just the difference between even just 7 years ago and now, like night and day. And people ask me, are you going to take those supplements forever? Like, heck yeah. You know, if I would use some other language, I'd say something. Yeah. I mean, of course, man. Why would I want to go back? I never want to go back. That's the best $100 or whatever it is I spend every month. Like, that is the best. Getting my magnesium up, getting my vitamin C up, getting my vitamin D up, getting all the things, you know, getting rid of insulin resistance. Like, why would I ever want to go back? There's no way in heck I will ever go back. In fact, as I opened this show with today, like literally I've never had one person complain to me the entire time I've been a physician, which is more than 20 years now, and say, hey, doc, I'm so bummed I got such awesome health. Like, I wish I had crappy health. Not one person, guys, ever. But too many to count have said the opposite. Doc, I wish I was healthy. I wish I hadn't done this, or I wish I had done XYZ, eaten better, you know, avoided the chips and Twinkies and Skittles and all the crap processed garbage and eaten better and timed it better and exercised more and got outside more because now I'm not doing good, you know? And guess what, guys? There's something you can do. You can do so much about it. Like literally night and day, the principles are true. They're based on data. I shared much of this with you over the course of this last year or so. I will continue to share because more and more keeps coming out. I just put out a course which has just the distillation of this awesomeness, how to not only lose weight, but get super healthy and to do so naturally, because that's what I want for me, my family, and all of you. I want that. I want optimal, ideal, just awesomeness and the best health you could ever have. The healthiest healthy, the healthiest you, that energy, that vitality, the stuff that you want, the chutzpah, the desire, the ánimo, as we say in Spanish. Ánimo, ánimo, ánimo. Tener ánimo. Well, to have that, to be able to have all the energy you want, to be active, to be vital, be full of life. That's what I'm talking about here, and that's possible. You can do this. You can have it all, and you can do it simply, reproducibly. The steps are not hard, and I explain it all in the course. So get it while you can, because you got less than a week now, guys. Summer solstice, June 21st. It will go back up to its usual price, which is $197. Until then, you have $100 off. It's more than half off, only $97. Mastermind.com. Check it out. Give it to your friends, family, those that are going to be excited about Father's Day. Maybe a gift that'll help them get to their healthiest healthy, and they'll be happier, and you'll be happier, and everybody will be happier, and you and he, or he and she, significant others, you guys can share this course between you two. Do it together. Keep each other honest. Have your little accountability partner. It'll be awesome. Anyway, that's all for now. Just wanted to thank you guys again. Check it out, mastermind.com. Look me up, Hemingway, natural weight loss, and your healthiest ever. A big aloha, guys. Until next time. Aloha.